Cape Town. I've been there 4 or 5 times, but it still does it to me. There's something about Cape Town which just eats all players up. So I've asked my director of rugby to count me out of that tournament for the rest of my career. Literally, I joke about it. I'm like, yeah, I'll sign on, but I'm not going to Cape Town ever again. Thanks, bye.
Have you
Camps Bay, mate.
any stories come to mind that you can share?
I debuted in Cape Town, and it's an awesome week. Like, South Africans love footy. Like, you're an absolute god in South Africa if you play rugby, and they love rugby sevens as well. Anyway, you're just in a really good spot. You're in the waterfront. It's really nice. There's really good food. There's beautiful beaches and around the corner. And there's this place. There's one place called Shimmy's, which you go to on the night out afterwards, because it's also the end of a pre-season. It rolls into Christmas time. That's how it's set up. So you go kind of pre-season into Dubai, Cape Town, then you get your Christmas break and New Year's break, and then you kind of start back up again. So it's kind of this. It's a silly season. You're on your Instagram and everyone at home's going out drinking in Bondi or whatever, and you're kind of like, oh shit, it's to get that vibe. And Dubai is the first one, so you don't go out in Dubai, and then you kind of just let loose Cape Town afterwards. But that week leading to it, it's usually 30 degrees. You go to Camps Bay, which is this beautiful kind of beach, like crystal white sand. There's bars and stuff that fall onto the beach. And you're kind of like, oh, why don't you just go up and have a beer at midday? And it's like, yeah, fuck, why not? And it's like, no, mate, you're here to play. Like, you're here to play. But yeah, it's a trap. And any professional rugby player, I reckon, would agree with me.
Have you ever had any close calls in terms of security? When you think about some places, some are more dangerous than others, or at least perceived to be. Have you ever had any close calls of that kind?
Yeah, Cape Town. Cape Town's dangerous. It's probably the most safest city in South Africa, but it's still quite dangerous. Just one time I was out with the group, but I wanted to head home earlier. I had a place called Mavericks. You can look that up a bit later on, Johnny. And
Everyone's
I had
searching now.
enough. Yeah. I had enough, and I decided to walk home. And I roughly knew the direction, but it was late at night. It was dark, and I was kind of walking along pretty quickly, and I found myself in a block, basically, which was like a shanty jail. They kind of have these compounds within the walls that a lot of the homeless people and men and women, it's kind of like a community, but it's kind of self-contained. They're kind of in like kind of like brick walls. There's kind of a few police around, but not really. It's basically an area for homeless to just kind of live kind of lawlessly. Anyway, I'm walking home to the hotel, and this is just in the city of Cape Town. This is just for a block of it. It's really weird. And all of a sudden, I've walked into one of these, and it's late at night, it's probably 10 p.m. And they're kind of sprawled across the out on the street, and they kind of got these bonfires going in these like tin bins on the street. It's cold, and I'm the only kind of white tourist male you can see, and I'm just going, oh God, I'm in trouble here. And in that feeling where every kind of eyes on you just goes boom, straight onto you, like, I'm not meant to be here. This isn't my area. What are you doing here? Obviously lost, very vulnerable. And my heart rate's just gone through the roof now. I'm walking a little bit faster. Few kind of like yells and like whatever kind of yelled at me, like, they're now noticing me. They're telling their friends, oh, look at this. I'm got a watch on, I've got a phone. Rule 101, you don't do in Cape Town. I'm now doing it. I'm walking home alone at night in a city that I don't know, which is already dangerous. And look, I was lucky nothing happened. I remember getting out of there pretty quickly. I didn't want to run because I'd kind of make it look a lot worse. But that could have really, really easily turned sour, really easily. Luckily for me, it didn't. I got home, but I remember getting home and being like, That was so dumb. That was so dumb. Cape Town can be a bit red hot. You get it. There's these things called black taxis, and I say that because they're like they're fake taxis, but I'm not going to say fake taxis. That might give people the wrong impression. And you think you get into a taxi, and you jump in, and the driver goes, "Where do you want to go to?" And you go, "Whatever." And there's no meter. There's nothing. They pick you up, and a lot of the time they pick you up and they take you to their town or their shanty town, and they bash you, they rob you, and they steal you. And so you got to be really aware that you're getting into a legitimate taxi. Otherwise, you're basically hostage. And my second year there, we accidentally got into one. We were trying to go to Camp Spade or a place called Caprice, which is awesome. And we got into this taxi, and all of a sudden we knew that this was a fake taxi. And he was like, "Where do you want to go to?" And we were like, Camp Spade. And he took us there, which was actually good. But holy shit, he went like 100 Ks an hour. We're holding on to like those, what are the handles in the car, just running red lights, running stop signs. And we're like, slow down. Got us there really quickly because we did ask him to get us there quickly. Nearly took a few lives with him. But yeah, it was a bit dangerous. But you got to be careful of that as well. These fake taxis that kind of pick you up, and then all of a sudden you're not where you're supposed to be.
There you go. So you get the best of Cape Town, but also the worst in other cities as well.
Maybe that's why I love it. The best and worst of both worlds.